Can you explain the strategies used by Hezbollah to breach the Israeli air defenses, launching such a drone attack on a military base that killed 4 soldiers and injured many?
Well, thank you, Rihem, for inviting me. No, I can't explain, and the Israelis can't explain, and that's why they're investigating, and that's why they're worried about um, a missile was a real breach or a random breach.
So, sir, you're not quite sure if it's a fluke, for instance, or could this be a breach?
Yes, it could be a fluke. I suspect that it's not a fluke. The Hezbollah has, contrary to what Israel alleges, has survived, and its capability is more or less intact. Its leadership is being replaced. And so I don't think it was a fluke, but it possibly could be. And that's what's to be discovered.
Okay, if we could move to Mr. Zidan, what weaknesses have been identified in Israel's air defense systems that may have allowed Hezbollah to breach it? We've always heard about the Iron Dome and how invincible it is. Do you think this is still the case given these number of major attacks that have taken place in Israel?
As for the Israelis, since yesterday, the army announced that there is a drone in Israel and there is an investigation regarding how this drone reached and how it crossed more than 60 kilometers from the Lebanese borders to reach this camp. In addition, this drone was not detected and no alarms were launched. The number of the victims of yesterday resulted from this attack was more than 60 injuries in addition to 4 people killed, announced so far by the army. Moreover, there are more than 40 soldiers who were injured during the fight in the battles in south of Lebanon. So yesterday, especially at night, there was a kind of a shift in the battles. In addition to the missiles launched by Hezbollah against Haifa over the past 2 weeks, but the missiles were intensified over the past few days. So the return of the displaced Israelis to their houses, as Benjamin Netanyahu announced, makes this target unachievable. On the contrary, there was displacement and number of Israelis will have to leave the Al Jalil Ala area in Haifa and the northern area to go towards the center. In Israel, there were questions on the real capability of Hezbollah, especially that Israel talked about the security level and at the political level that they were able to assassinate the leaders of Hezbollah. But yesterday only, the Minister of Security in Israel said that he was able to destroy 2/3 of the military capability of Hezbollah. But this attack says that Hezbollah still owns real and serious potentials. With low cost, they are humble potential. However, they still pose a real threat against Israel, not just on the military level and the losses and killing the soldiers, but they also exposed the internal front, which will affect the Israeli public opinion to move at a have to pay due to this war. In my opinion, this is the bet right now, because Israel tries to convince the Israeli society to continue the war, but the society pays a price from their humans, from their economy, from their society. In Israel, this is a very important issue, which is until when the internal front will remain cohesive, especially with the great fragmentation inside the Israeli society that entered this war, with other commitments related to the judicial system, the government, and the goals of the war since the beginning of the aggression against Gaza, now in Lebanon as well. There is a threat also that this war would be expanded to include Iran, which will have a greater cost that the Israeli society will not be able to incur.